What is going on, guys? Castor right here, and today we have a lot to cover. First of all, we're going to talk about Sony A7IV, new details right there. We are going to talk about also how you can win a brand new Sony ZVE10 right here in the channel. Super excited about that one. And also we're going to talk about some of the brand new Sony lenses announcements that we may hear in 2021. So a lot to cover. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Castor right here, and like I mentioned before, we are going to talk about the Sony A7IV, but stick around because I'm going to tell you very soon how you can win a Sony ZVE10 right here in the channel. But let's go with the first detail about the Sony A7IV, because Sony Alpha Rumor is claiming that they have got this information from a very reliable source and stating that the Sony A7IV will feature a 33 megapixel sensor. Now, this is right in line with what we've been discussing right here in the channel. And I remember when we touched this subject, a lot of people say, well, you know, maybe low light performance is going to decrease because of the higher resolution. But if you think about cameras like the Sony A1, 50 megapixel, you know, that camera has great low light performance. So I don't think this is going to be an issue at all. In fact, it may be even better than the 24 megapixel older sensor. All right, really quick intermission while I'm editing this video. Sony Alpha Rumor just posted this news stating that the Sony A7IV is going to feature 4K 30p oversample from 7K. Now, a lot of people in the comments, they started saying that, oh, well, this is not going to have 60p. What a bummer. You know, the R6 is going to kill it. But if you read carefully, it only talks about 4K up to 30p. That means 24, 25, 30p. Will be 7K oversample, and I'm assuming that 60p may be, you know, a lesser version, maybe 6K, 5K, 4K, or even Super 35. So most likely we're gonna hear more about this in the upcoming days, and we'll be doing a video, of course. So for now, let's go back to the video. The next piece of information talks about IBIS for the Sony A7IV, and this one is actually very exciting, not because of the Sony A7IV, but because of the future of IBIS overall for Sony. And I'll tell you more when I start talking about lenses. But the Sony A7IV is said that it's going to feature a 5.5 stops of image stabilization plus the active mode. And right now we have two cameras that actually have 5.5 in the active mode. One is the Sony A7IV and the other one is the Sony FX3, which the performance of the image stabilization in combination with digital and some of the lenses that feature image stabilization is actually pretty good. I wouldn't say that, you know, it's better than Canon, because by far Canon has the best image stabilization right now when you engage IBIS, digital, and a lens with IS. So nowhere near, but we are getting close, and this is what we're going to talk about in just a moment. Now, when can we hear about the Sony A7IV? When is Sony going to be announcing this camera? And it is said that Sony will announce this camera at around October or September. And once again, this is subject to the shortage of components that the entire planet is going through right now. Now, if Sony announces the camera around October or September, don't expect the camera to be available the very next month, because most likely we are going to have to wait. And it is safe to say that probably they will announce the camera this year, but the camera is going to start shipping maybe sometime in 2022 in the first quarter and by limited amounts. So yes, we're going to have to continue waiting. Now let's talk about lenses, guys, because this one is a very important one. And like I mentioned before, I'm pretty excited about the future of Sony and what they are going to do with IBIS. And the more I think about it, you know, the more I realize that Sony is going to have to actually upgrade their glass. And we have talked right here in the channel about the 24-70, the 70-200 f2.8 G Master, that those lenses may actually suffer some, you know, revamp for several reasons. Number one, Canon has killed it with the RF 24-70 f2.8. and it has image stabilization. And of course, the 70-200 f2.8 from Canon RF is by far one of the best out there right now, at least my favorite one. It's a lot lighter, a lot shorter, and you know, as we're getting older, we are appreciating more the lack of weight and size. And obviously, you know, if you travel, you know, it's good for traveling when you have a much smaller lens. But Sony's going to have to re-engineer the image stabilization from the lenses in order to actually give us close to that A stop of image stabilization that we get with some of the RF bodies and RF lenses. For that, you know, introducing new lenses is going to be a great call, where they can talk directly with the new IBIS of the sensor and the digital mode processing that the camera does internally. Now we're going to talk about a lens that is actually pretty interesting. In this one, it is said that Sony is working on a 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8. Wait, what? Yes, we know that Tamron already has a 28 to 75 millimeters f2.8 and Sigma has a 28 to 70 f2.8, but none of those lenses have image stabilization. And I think that this is exactly what Sony is gonna try to do. And Sony could actually have here the opportunity to make the first 28 to 75 millimeters f2.8 with image stabilization, once again giving us a lens that can actually work better with that active image stabilization and the sensor IS. Now, Tamron and Sigma actually pay licensing fees to Sony in order for them to be able to tap into the electronics. So Sony's gonna have to play that, very carefully, and I don't think they're gonna compete with price, because that has never been Sony. So they're gonna compete with more feature at a much more elevated price for that particular lens. Now let's talk about the 100 to 1.4 millimeter lens, which is another G Master lens rumored to be announced. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty excited about this one because 85 and 105 is my favorite focal length for portraiture. So a 100 is right kind of like the perfect spot for me. And I'm pretty excited to know how this lens is going to be. Now, I hope it's not huge, and I think will be a little bit closer to the 135 than anything else, but we would have to wait and see. Now, like I mentioned before, you can win right here in the channel a brand new Sony ZVE10 with the kit lens. And how to do that is gonna be super simple. Hop over to my Instagram and Twitter, and you're gonna see this image right here. Read the caption, it tells you how to enter, but it's gonna be super simple. Type a comment right there on both platforms why you need this camera, what are you going to be doing with it. Tag 3 friends, and I'll be making the announcement on December 1st. So good luck to all of you guys. I already have given a Sony A7C, and this is the second giveaway that I do off a camera. But again, guys, let me know. Are you waiting for the Sony A7IV? Are you pleased with some of the leaks that we have been hearing? Or you have just got tired and bought another camera? Also, let me know what you think about these lenses that we are discussing, and if you think that Sony is going to add the image stabilization game very soon. Until then, guys, I will see you in the next video.